If you were to come to Northern Ireland, which area would be the best to photograph and to visit?
Well, in our opinion, the most scenic part of Northern Ireland is the Causeway Coast. Google tells us that the Causeway Coast runs from Belfast all the way to Derry, Londonderry. And of course, whatever Google says is true. But we're going to focus on the most popular part of the Causeway Coast, from downhill all the way to Ballycastle.
So, which are the top 10 places to photograph and actually visit in the Causeway Coast of Northern Ireland?
Ballycastle, the town that's cozier than a sheep in a woolly sweater and more charming than a leprechaun with a pot of gold. And let's not forget about the locals. They've got the friendliest smiles this side of the rainbow. Trying to photograph them is like trying to capture the essence of hospitality in pixels. It's impossible. Did I mention about the fish and chips that are the best in the world? Thank you, Angela.
We're in Port-Ballantrae, and Ken, I think that Port-Ballantrae is one of the most underrated places in the whole of the Causeway Coast. What do you think?
There's no argument for me, George. This would be at the top of my list of places to visit and photograph on the Causeway Coast. It's just such a splendid place, and it's not crowded very often, which is even better for photography. Brilliant walk along towards Runkerry here. Again, absolutely wonderful. No argument at all. This for me is right up there at the top.
I can't agree with you more. It definitely deserves to be on the top 10.
Well, we couldn't miss off Castle Rock. Lovely walk along the strand here to the bar mouth. On a day like today where it's a bit windy, you get incredible waves breaking over the bar mouth there. Equally down there is Lawson's Jetty, where we did a video on some time ago. Really windy today.
So we couldn't really leave out the Dark Hedges. It's one of the most spectacular places and one of the most popular. This avenue of beech trees dates back to 1775. Sadly today, out of the 150 trees that were originally there, there are only around 80 remaining. If you do go there to take photographs, early morning is by far the best time. That's before the crowds arrive. And if you're lucky, you might even get a bit of mist around those trees. It really does add to the ethereal, sort of haunting image that you have of them. Yeah, why? Because it's supposed to have its own ghost, the Grey Lady. Have you got a head for heights? Now, there's been a rope bridge here for centuries, and it is much, much safer these days. Initially, there was just one rail on one side to cross. Heaven knows how people did that. If you do cross it, don't look down, look straight ahead. Photography wise, it lends itself to lots of different images, but again, night photography works ever so well here, as this time lapse certainly shows.
Well, it's a 1-mile peninsula sticking out into the Atlantic Ocean with two amazing beaches, the East Strand and the West Strand. Portrush has a lot to offer. Endless opportunities for photography and relaxation. What else would you want?
So we're now at the herring pond in Port Stewart. Have a look at these waves behind. Absolutely phenomenal. It's a wonderful place for photography. It's also a place that people swim most days. Why it's called the herring pond, I've no idea. If you know, let us know in the comments below. We're going to take a slow shutter speed now, and we're going to calm these waves behind and turn it into that sort of ethereal look. So if that works, here it is.
Musselden Temple. This stoic round structure, standing alone with its columns proudly facing the sea, seems to be playing a centuries-old game of chicken with Mother Nature. How close can I get to the edge before I take a swim? It seems to ponder. Inside, it's easy to imagine it was once a hotspot for philosophers and poets. To be or not to be, that close to a cliff edge. Nowadays, it's likely whispering to the sea. If I had a dime for every time someone said, "Wow, what a view," I'd have enough to buy myself a much safer location. Downhill Castle. Its ruins, with their crumbling walls and ivy-clad arches, are a romantic testament to the passage of time. They stand proudly against the backdrop of the local countryside, offering breathtaking views of the surrounding sea and hills.
This is the sandy port at Ballantoy. It is one of my most favourite places of all. As you stand here and you look out towards Rathlin Island, Sheep Island and Port Campbell with Scotland behind, it is absolutely splendid for photography. Northern lights here are out of this world on a good clear night. If I had £1 for every time I photographed down here, I'd be quite rich. And I ask you, how sweet is this? Just look behind me here, see the pink in the sky, the foreglow, the sun's rising over there at Gallows Hill and Dunluce Castle behind me being lit up. Early morning and not another soul about. It's absolutely splendid. How could we miss out the Giant's Causeway, the #1 place to visit along the Causeway Coast in Northern Ireland? Such a spectacular place, George. What do you think?
Well, it had to be the #1 place on the Causeway Coast of Northern Ireland. It's one of the most spectacular places for visiting and photography.
Standing on these stones beneath a starry sky, photographing the northern lights off there is an unbelievable experience.
So of course scientists tell us that this place was created by a geological event that happened millions of years ago. But we all know that the true story is that it was created by a giant called Finn McCool, who after a few drinks had a little bit of DIY landscaping and created this place.
Yeah. Don't miss this place off your itinerary when you come to visit Northern Ireland and take photographs here. You won't be disappointed.
So these are our top 10 places along the Causeway Coast of Northern Ireland. Let us know in the comments below if you agree with us. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon on your notifications so you know exactly when we have our next video. Thank you very much for watching and we'll see you next time.